Hello and welcome to the first official event of the Red Bull Matchbox Race 2020. This event is the first of a series of qualifiers, drawing from the first group of drivers, introduced in the Vehicle Introductions 1 video. A link is in the description. Here is a look at the event course, a ridgeline road track full of twists and turns. A racer's time will begin when their vehicle passes the start line here, and the clock stops when their vehicle emerges from the tunnel in the final straight. Now, this course is not a simple race to the finish, go as fast as you can affair. It requires restraint and control. If a driver accelerates too quickly on the opening straight into the first corner, their vehicle will launch off the cliff drop into the berm, ricocheting down the second straight and losing speed, and more importantly, precious control. Here's our opening lineup. This being such a technical course, these 10 drivers will each have 6 chances to make it down the course once. Once a driver has succeeded, they will have unlimited chances to make it a second time, but the first success must come in the first 6 attempts. A vehicle that cannot make it down in 6 attempts will be marked with a DNF and will not move forward. Without further ado, here's our first driver. Jordan Gates in the 2 Jets. This is one of the newest cars in the grid today. Let's see how they do. Jordan Gates and the 2 Jets have a bit of an advantage in that it's such a short car that leads with the wheels. These runs are looking pretty quick. Let's take a gander at the time. A very, very impressive 4:28 will be their qualifying time. Our second driver today is Abid Jensen in a Corvette. I think they're a volunteer firefighter. Run 5 was the first time they made it down the course. A little bit rocky through the first corner, but smooth through the rest of the course. Now, consistency seems to be an issue with Abid, taking 10 runs to get down the course twice. This one's looking a little bit rockier than the first time around, and sure enough, their qualifying time will be 4:36. We'll see how that compares to the rest of the grid, as we welcome Amir Whitehead to the top of the course in their 911 GT3 Cup. Very slow through the first corner and goes sideways off the cliff drop, and that will be a poor time indeed. Consistency pretty good though, making it down the course twice in a row. Smoother down the course this time. Definitely a better run, but a little bit slow down the final straight, and a 5:15 will be their qualifying time. Currently in provisional 3rd. Here's Natalia Rosales in a Ferrari. Now this one has a minor issue, we'll see if it affects them on the course. Apparently not, they were able to make it down the course in their first attempt. Doesn't look like it's the fastest, but relatively smooth. Let's take a look at their next run. This one looks faster than their first. And indeed, that is a good time of 4:38. Another Ferrari is following that one, Wilbur Kay in a Ferrari 599 GTB. This is a sleek-looking car. Let's see how it does on the course. Very fast down the first straight, smooth over the cliff, but sideways through the final tunnel. That'll add to their run pretty badly. Smooth through the opening corners, and smooth through the tunnel. That's a very good time of 4:29, giving them provisional 2nd. Next up, we've got Manveer Kane in the 63 Corvette. Now, we don't expect this vehicle to be able to make it down the course with a dire issue. Here we'll see an exception to the 6-run rule. If a vehicle cannot make it past the first corner in the first 2 attempts, those are the only attempts they will get. And indeed, Manveer Kane in the 63 Corvette will end their Matchbox run right here with a DNF. Next up, we have Marta Barkley in another Corvette. Looks like a lot of our drivers are going through midlife crises. Run 3 was the first time they made it down the course. Let's take a look. Smooth in the opening straight and corner. Smooth just about all the way down, a little bit slow there coming out of the second turn. Run 5 starting in the left lane. Very slow going down the cliff drop there. And that will be a poor run. Indeed, their first run of 5:07 will be their qualifying. Here's Terran Castillo in a BMW X5, the first tall vehicle to take on the course. We'll see how that affects its run. It was able to make it down all the way in its second run. A little bit rocky down the second straight here, but smooth through the final straight. Run 6. Looked very rocky through the first corner, but a little bit better through the final portion of the course. Terran will have to settle for a 5:01 to finish their qualifying. Here we've got Christopher Chandler in a 55 Chevy. Now this was manufactured in 1978, one of the oldest vehicles in the entire grid. Let's take a look at their runs. Looks a bit slow through the first corner, smoother through the rest, but I think they'll want to do better than that. Let's take a look at their next. Once again, pretty slow through the first corner. And that looked even slower than the first. Let's take a look at their time here, and a 5:15 will have to satisfy them at the end of qualifying. Our next drivers are last, Ina Brewer in a Jaguar XK8. I don't know if I'd want to take a convertible down this course. Run 3 was the first time they made it all the way down. Looking quite smooth and fast, and makes it quite smoothly through the final tunnel. Took them all the way to run 8, however, to finish their qualifying, which is not a good sign. But this run is looking smooth and fast. A little bit slow down the final straight perhaps there. And yes, a 5:01 will have to satisfy Ina Brewer. And here are our top 10 in the qualification standings. Of course, these are the 10 vehicles we just saw. I don't believe that Manveer Kane will be staying in this top 10 list for very long. However, Jordan Gates and Wilbur Kay at the top of this field, with 428 and 429 respectively, will likely stay for some time. Thanks for joining us for this first qualification event of the Red Bull Matchbox Race 2020. Consider subscribing and turning on alerts so that you don't miss the next one.